Um, we're out here today on my mini truck hood. This hood is trashed, it's garbage. It is a part of my history with this truck. If I was to ever use a hood on this truck, it's not going to be this one. There's just too much damage done to it. It's been either walked across or has just had multiple things piled on it for years. It is dented, it is scratched, it is gouged up, and like looking at some of these gouges in here, they are thick and it's not even down to bare metal. So that tells me that there's a ton of body work already done to this hood. There's a lot of material on it. It's just not worth saving, but it is something that one day I would like to hang on the wall. Killing me not to just body work it out real quick and straighten it out. Maybe one day we will do that, but today is not that day. What I am attempting to do here is I just want to dial in my new spray gun. We recently picked up a Black Widow. It is the HTE version. A lot of people say that it's just a clear gun. Some people say they use it for both. I did use it to spray the Monte Carlo firewall, and it's a hoser. Like, it really puts the paint on. Did great with the clear too, but I want to start playing with the gun and see if we can dial back the fluid flow when we're putting on the base. So that way we're not overusing product, and I worry with it putting it on so heavy that when we're spraying metallics that we get metallic pooling, which means that it's so wet that the metallics will start to gather in areas, especially like if you have a low area, the metallics will flow to that area, and you'll end up with blotchiness. So I want to see if we can dial that back. I'm getting ready to paint the Jeep bed like any day. Like, all I gotta do is just tape stuff off and it's ready for paint. So, but before I paint that bed, I want to play with this gun a little bit. And I don't want to play with it on that. I would rather have everything dialed in and ready to go. So I'm gonna run over this with some 220, and then we'll run over it with some 320. I may go through in some of the really chipped up gouged areas and hit it with some spot putty, something that we can come back in an hour and just sand it out. Reason being is because I want to be able to see how this gun sprays, and if there's chips and scratches all over this, which there is, it's going to be kind of hard to see how the product's laying out. So I do want to at least just sand this down. It's already been sanded down in something. I don't know what it is. It's been so long. So we're just going to run over it. We're going to sand it up, try and take some of these scratches and chips out. And yeah, and then we'll spray it. And I'm thinking I have a bunch of leftover paint from a job that I did, I don't even know, 8, 9, 10 years ago. But I have like a half gallon of like a pewter left. So it's a very light, high metallic color. So it's a good test to test this gun out on. And then who knows, maybe we'll go in and we'll do some true fire. I was looking at some of the colors that we have. I have a purple. I think maybe we'll do some purple true fire on it, just to make it look cool, something that I can set on the blazer and look at, or you know, it'll get set back on the blazer, but maybe, you know, till we're ready to do it, we can hang it on the wall. And you know, when I lay out the TrueFire, I can lay it out in spots where it covers some of the damaged areas and your eyes drawn to that flame instead of the giant dents that are in this hood. So, quick and simple to do those. For me to tape out and do all these flames and tape everything off, it takes a lot of time to do that. So if we just airbrush some stuff, can get it done fairly quick. So this is just some 220 on here. All right, you guys shut off in there at some point. So I just finished sanding it down in 220, and now I'm just going through and hitting all the chips and scratches with some spot putty. You know, this is pretty much overkill for what we're trying to do here, but like I said, if it's just riddled with chips and scratches, it's going to be kind of hard to tell if the gun is spraying nice. I think it's time for some new spot putty. Okay, I think that's overkill, but at least it'll look a little bit better. Like I said, we're using a pewter, so it's going to show everything. So any chips or scratches or dents or anything like that, it's gonna show it. And when I'm trying to test my gun and get a good test panel going, it's not really the best to start with garbage. So I'll at least try and clean it up a little bit. And you know, from this point on, it is what it is. And you know, mainly what I'm looking to do is get the gun tuned in so that we don't have any tiger striping, or we don't have any pooling of metallics. So my old gun that I had, it's a Mako gun. I've had it for 15 plus years. I have multiple guns from Mako, all the same gun. I had one primer, the rest was I had one for base coat, one for clear, and somewhere in there I had bought another one. So, but you know, they've all bitten the dust over the years. You know, 15 years is a long time to put a gun to use. And when I worked for a body shop, you know, 12 of those 15 years, I painted several cars a day. So, and I'm talking like every day. And I usually worked weekends as well, and I would work evenings on my own stuff, and so those guns got a lot of use. And the last thing I sprayed was the inside of the hood for the Jeep, and it tiger striped on me, and there was nothing I tried everything to get it to go away, and it wasn't happening. You know, I would cover up the old ones and create new ones. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. We'll come back, we'll sand it all down again. We'll get it in 320. Maybe I'll run over it a little bit with some 400 wet sand after that, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get some pewter paint mixed up and attempt to put some paint on this guy. I think it's lunchtime for me, so we'll come back after lunch, and we'll sand all this down. I'll probably put a fresh piece of 220 on here. We'll sand out all this spot putty that we just put on there. Then we'll hit it with some 320 and maybe some 400. So we'll see you guys back out here in a bit. Later. All right, we're back out here after lunch. We've gave plenty of time for this hood to cure up. So we're gonna hit it again with 220, and then we'll hit some 320. So. Just a little bit, it popped right out. And don't get me wrong, there's still some dents in here, but I'm just gonna, since we popped all that out, I guess I should have done that earlier. I'm just gonna hit these couple of dents. This stuff dries really fast, so you know, within 20 minutes or so we should be able to sand this down. And alright, we'll be back in 20 minutes or so. Okay, I switched over some 80 grit on a DA. We're just going to DA this out. Remember, this is just a wall hanger, so not looking to make it perfect. I've already gone farther than I wanted to. better. There's still some big dents in here, but it's better. What I'm gonna do now, there is a major low spot right here. There's a little something there. So while we get the rest of the hood, I'm gonna run back over these spots with some 220, and then we'll start 320 and out the rest of the hood while those couple of spots dry. Would have been a cool color if it would have worked out. This was actually a color, my mom bought this color for me, and it's a green off of a Ford Explorer, and I really like the color. I've almost been, kinda, the thought has been there to go back to this color, but I already have some color for this picked out. Well, I already had it actually, but it was a cool looking color. It's a shame that it didn't work out the first time. Not that I wouldn't have destroyed it because I was young and dumb, but the whole reason the thing ended up getting redone was because I didn't know what I was doing when I painted it, and I painted it with a friend of mine who didn't know what he was doing either, and it came out, it looked like bed liner. Alright, I'm gonna mix up a coat of sealer, and we're just gonna blow a coat of Tour sealer over it. That'll help kind of level everything out, and then we'll go in and get the paint. The color for this is actually in the house, so yeah, let me mix up a little bit of sealer, and we'll go ahead and we'll seal this up. Okay, I mixed up a little bit of sealer. I don't know, I got like this much in there. We'll put it all on, see where we end up. I mixed up a little bit more and I made it a little thicker. Just a thin coat of sealer is not gonna do enough for what we got going on, so. Okay, I think we're just gonna leave this dry till tomorrow, and then we'll be back out with 320 again. I I mean, it looks a lot better than it did with knocking those dents out and filling what we filled. But it is still just, it's really rough. And you know, I know that this is just a test. I know. I've already spent too much time on it. But I just have a hard time painting something, even if it is just a test. That looks horrible. And, you know, I'm trying to look and make sure that the gun is spraying out nice. I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I'm trying to look to see if the gun is spraying out nice. And it's kind of hard to see if it's spraying out nice if you're spraying over garbage. So, I think, like I said, I think we'll leave this till tomorrow. And we'll sand it back out again. And then we can paint it. I think. You know what? Well, screw it. Let's let me go get the paint and get some paint mixed up. You know, with sealer, you just do wet on wet. And let's see. There was some stuff that I told you I wanted to go through and do, you know, some flames on it. I had Colleen make me up some decals, or some stencils, one of a Chevy symbol, one of our half dozen customs. And I was going to stick those on and then do the flames, and then you peel those off and they're inside the flames. And I think with sealing and base coat, I don't think that we can put stickers on it or decals, stencils. They're stick-on stencils. I think it'll just peel off. So we probably do the artwork tomorrow, if we're gonna do it. So but let's just go get the color, and we can spray some color on it, and see what it looks like. We can see how the gun sprays, and then worst case scenario tomorrow, you know, we can sand it down with some 320. We can blow some more base on it, and then we can do our artwork if we want tomorrow. I don't think we're gonna be able to do the artwork tonight. So, just because I kind of, the whole stick-on stencil thing. So, a couple years ago, Colleen got me a plotter for Christmas so that I could print out these huge stencils and stick them on, and we can do all this airbrushing and all this other stuff. And we've been using it to make t-shirts and other stuff like that. We're actually making our own decals. So, you know, so we're using it to make stuff, but I've yet to use it for what I actually got it for. So I want to try it. I figured since we were testing a spray gun that it might be a good time to test out making stencils. And the thing that sucks is I don't have any of the stuff that you actually need to do the stencils. The one we do, but it's really sticky. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. This isn't working out how I wanted it to, but we'll be back. Okay, so you've seen that we just put that one coat on there, and so I played with I didn't play with the fan at all, but there's an adjustment on the back of the gun that controls air, which is really nice. So not only do I have the one that's down by my hose, but I have one on the gun as well, which my normal gun that I normally use don't have that. And then I turned the fluid flow way in, and put one coat on, and it's still pretty much covered, which, reading through the reviews on this, everybody told me that it, or well, not everybody told me personally, but everybody said in the reviews that that this gun saves product because it covers really, really nice, and I can see that, like, and with one coat, I mean, this hood is pretty well covered. I mean, we do have a little bit of blotchiness because it's only one coat, but I think definitely 2 or 3 coats, you know, we're going to be covered. Everything that I've painted on this Jeep so far, with my old gun, we were doing 4 coats, and I was doing a drop coat first. I was doing a drop coat and then putting 4 coats on. So that's a lot of paint. So if we're able to get this thing coated in 3 coats, you know, that's saving a coat and a half of paint. So that'll be awesome. And so far, the way that it's spraying out, I'm happy with it. We're gonna put a couple more coats on there, and hopefully there will be no blotchiness, no tiger striping, and we'll be good. Hood still looks like crap. It looks a lot better than it would have if we would have just scuffed it and painted it, but it looks pretty decent. So it looks decent enough for me to hang on a wall, I'll put it that way. Still looks like crap, but it's decent enough for a wall hanger. Anyways, I'm gonna let this sit for a couple minutes, and we'll put another coat on. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I think it looks good. You know, 2 coats, it's covered. Now, if we wouldn't have sealed it first, would we have had that outcome? You know, because we made it all one color with the sealer. And this color that we're putting on isn't far off from the color of the sealer. So, does that play a role in it? Absolutely. But it looks pretty well covered. I think the next coat that we're going to put on, I'm just going to kind of put a drop coat on and just try and make sure that there's no blotchiness or anything. As far as tiger stripes go, I don't see any tiger stripes. A little bit of blotchiness, but it's only coat number 2. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll let this dry, we'll put one more coat on, and we'll see how it looks. So far, I'm really happy with it. So, we'll be back. Okay. So, other than all the chips and scratches and bad body work and the dings and dents and everything like that, I think that now right now this is just in base coat, and we just put that coat that you guys just watched me put on maybe 5 minutes ago. So, you know, you are seeing a little bit, you know, when you're painting, you don't put it on super wet. So it does have, you know, some dryness looking to it. And I'm sure when we come out tomorrow, because I don't think I'm going to do anything else with this tonight. It's already 11 o'clock. When we come out tomorrow, like, it should be fully cured and dry and very dry looking. It shouldn't have this kind of semi-gloss look to it. But as far as tiger stripes, I don't see any. If there's any blotchiness, it's to a very minimal thing, you know, it's very minimal. You know, walking around and looking at it, it looks fine to me. The only time that I see any of the blotchiness is if I'm looking across the sheen of it, and I'm seeing where, like, you know, some of it's dry, some of it's shiny. So, looking down on it, I think it looks good. I think with a coat of clear, it'd be fine. So, like I said, I wanted to test out using this plotter for some stencils. And I think right now the paint's just too fresh, and we sealed it underneath, so there's twice as much product there. And I'm worried that if I stick a sticker on it and try and peel that sticker off, it's just going to peel the paint. It's going to peel the paint, it's going to peel the primer, whatever. I'm going to stick a sticker on, I'm not going to be able to get it off. So we're just going to let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow we'll come out, you know, hopefully we'll just spend a couple hours. We'll throw the stencils on, we'll throw some flames on, we'll peel the stencils off. And then, you know, maybe I have some junk clear here that I have had for years. I don't even know where it came from. I actually think, I'm not positive, but when I had left the body shop that I was at for like 12 years, I was living in a townhouse and I didn't have anywhere to put my toolbox. So I stored my toolbox at a buddy's house. And when I finally picked my toolbox back up, he had tossed a bunch of stuff in my toolbox that he didn't want. Like, there was an air tank for filling up tires. There was a couple other things. And it might be where that clear came from. He may have thrown that gallon of clear in there. But I've had it for years and years and years. And not that long ago, I sprayed something with it just to see if it was still any good. And it worked. But it's so old, like, I wouldn't put it on anybody's vehicle because it's so old. But for a hood that we're gonna hang on the wall, I got no problem throwing that on there. Need to use it up anyway, so we'll use that. We'll throw a couple coats of clear on it, and yeah, we'll call it a day. So I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll throw some flames and some stencils on here, and yeah, that'll be it. Then I think tomorrow, I think I'm comfortable enough with what we got going on with this spray gun. I think I feel comfortable enough to respray the inside of that hood. So I think tomorrow evening we'll respray that hood. Tomorrow's Thursday. So we'll respray that hood, and then Friday we will we'll start masking off this bed, getting it ready for paint, and we need to build that table again with the sawhorses and the plywood and everything, and get like the rear fenders mounted to it, get the side panels mounted to it, get the steps mounted to it, get that, I want to paper that all off. So we'll start working on that. I think Friday is going to be just masking and getting everything ready to spray. And I'm not planning on spraying everything on Friday. I'm just planning on getting everything ready Friday. And you know, Saturday or Sunday, we're gonna paint this bed. So I'm hoping Saturday. So see you guys later. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'm out. We're back out here on the mini truck hood that we're using for a test panel for the new Black Widow gun that we got. And as you can see, everything dried out last night and it looks really good. No tiger striping, no blotchiness, no nothing. You know, this hood, you know, I'm gonna say it again, this hood was in really bad shape. We didn't really do a whole lot to try and straighten it out or fix it. Like, you know, you can see big dent there still. You can see a dent in the metal here. You can see bad body work there. Lots of chips, lots of scratches. You know, it is what it is. It's just a test panel. But today, we're done playing with the Black Widow until we clear it, which I've already cleared something with it. I know it clears really good, so we're not really testing that out. But I figured since we went through all this, we'll do some airbrushing artwork on it. I did a hood a couple of years ago for my buddy who owns a Jeep where we did some True Fire on it. And we're pretty much just going to do the same thing. I don't like doing things twice on video for you guys. And I apologize for that, but I'm just looking to do something fast. And these style of airbrushing flames can, as long as I don't spend too much time on it, they go pretty fast. So Colleen had printed me out on the plotter a couple of things. One is just it's our logo for Half Dozen Customs, and then the other one is a Chevy symbol. We don't really have the proper stuff here to be doing this kind of stuff, so this is kind of a test. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we are going to try it. So the first thing that we have here is our emblem, and basically what I'm planning on doing with this is we're gonna stick this on there, and then we'll airbrush around it. Same thing with the Chevy symbol, and then we're gonna airbrush our flames on, and we'll have a couple of the tips come up to this, and then we'll do a couple of little ones off of it on each side. Chevy symbol, this emblem, and it'll look like the flame goes up to it, expands into our logo, and then comes back out into a flame on it. At least that's the idea of it. And then we will peel this off, and it should, you know, resemble the logo back in this pewter color. So this is the whole reason that I got this plotter, was to do stuff like this. And this is my first time using it for this. Now, I used to have a buddy, well, I still have this buddy, but a buddy of mine back in the day used to be able to get stuff like this for me. I had done a motorcycle tank in the past, and he had gotten me decals. I forget what, I think it was a Honda or something, and he got me decals that said Honda, and we put them on and then painted everything and peeled it off, and then it said Honda in the paint. And that's the only time I've ever really done this or used it. So like I said, this is definitely a test. So I'm not gonna like push this on super hard because I want it to come off. I want it to peel off easily. So I'm just very lightly pushing this on there. Like I said, this isn't, so I have asked a couple of people online like what they're using to make these stencils, and it must be like a trade secret or something, because nobody wants to respond to me and tell me what it is that they're using. I don't think we'll have a problem with peeling it off because I can't even get it to come off of the backing. I don't think we'll have any problem peeling this off. Now the other one, on the other hand, she made it out of this because I guess we didn't have enough. We didn't have enough of that stuff, so, which I found a roll of this stuff. I'll have to bring it in for this. I had this up there. So this is Frisket film, low tack, easy lift off masking film, and I bet she could have made it out of this. This stuff here is like super sticky. So that stuff works awesome, I think. This, on the other hand, not so much. But every time we pick up some of that, Colleen makes stickers and T-shirts and stuff, and it's gone like instantly. So. Get my dirty fingerprints all over that. She told me not to get this thing dirty, that it was sticky, and now I see what's going on. So the board that she cut it on is sticky, and then the tape is sticky. So I'm having a very hard time trying to pull it off because it's double sticky. it's worth. So now we know this won't work. Man, what a pain. Okay, we might get it to work good enough, but what a pain in the butt. Okay, so this is actually vinyl sticker. This is what we use to make our decals and our shirts. Like you can see, that's the same thing that's on our shirt. So that's what that is. And then when we make our stickers, like to put on like the back window of a vehicle, so this is what you stick. This is what you would stick over this, so that it holds the sticker together while you peel the backing off, and then you put it on your window, and then you peel this off and it leaves your sticker behind. And this stuff, definitely not, you know, Colleen made it for me last night saying this is all we got, give it a go. And I think it'll work for you know, for a hood that we're just going to hang on the wall. Would I ever want to do this on somebody's vehicle like this? No. But I think it'll work for what we're doing. I think I'm just going to have to go through and kind of make sure that the edges stay stuck down, because I can see that they're peeling up. So, but let's, I'll be back. I'm going to get the airbrush set up. Now this could be a fail. This whole thing could be a fail. Who knows? I'm going to attempt to do these flames like almost like a neon light. Now, I have never attempted to do the neon light thing. I've watched several people do it, and it's really easy to do. If you're just doing, like, if I was to do my name Dave and make it look like a neon light, like, it's super easy to do. It's, you know, it's 3 colors, and you just hand airbrush everything out, and you have your, when you're done, it looks like it's a neon light. I've never done it, but it's easy to do. I think I would have no problem doing it. I'm going to attempt to do it with these flames. Don't know that it's going to work out that way, but we'll see. Basically, so I'm thinking that I was saying that we were going to paint this hood pewter and then do some purple flames on it. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up some white, and we're going to do the white flames, and then we're going to go back over it with the purple, and then we'll go back and we'll do highlights with the white, and hopefully it'll look like a neon light afterwards. So either way, I mean, it should look cool. Whether it has that neon look to it, we'll see at the end. But let me get some white paint set up in the airbrush and we'll get to it. Okay, I got some white in the airbrush. We're getting ready to put this stuff on. If you guys have stands like that, they're just Harbor Freight stands with a chain. your airbrush hangs really nice on that chain. I always do that. You know, if you guys are always looking for somewhere to hang your airbrush while you're working on stuff, those work good. So we're going to be doing that True Fire setup, like I said. And these are, I just call these bowling pins. That's what a lot of people just call them, bowling pins. And these are just made out of, look, that's a Tostito box. And that one, I don't know, it's just a box cert. You know, like Pepsi boxes, Coca-Cola boxes, beer boxes. They work great for making these bowling pins. And you can see that, you know, I've made two that match. And the reason that I have two that match is because if you're doing a lot of spraying with them, they'll get wet. So then you just switch over to the other one while the one's drying. So, and you do have to be careful with getting this stuff too wet, because you'll end up leaving this blue behind on what you're working on if it gets too wet. So you do have to be kind of careful with them. I mean, you can remake new ones, you know, every time you do it if you want. But, and then, like, you know, those are kind of for doing smaller ones. And then I have these stencils in here that are, they're pretty much the same thing. If I could get it out. So it's pretty much the same thing. You can use these for doing those flames too. You know, but you got some pretty small stuff. Like if you wanted to do flames on like an RC car, like this is, I would say this is perfect for like an RC car. And these are actual stencils that you can buy, and you just wipe them off with lacquer thinner and they come clean. The carburetor or the cardboard stuff, you can't just wipe those off. I mean, you can, but only to a certain extent. So, so I don't ever really use these because they're so small. You know, we may grab it here or there if I want a small detail, but that's really, I really use just those. And you can make those in a bigger size. Like if you're trying to do a whole car with it, you may not want to use something that small because it's going to take you forever to do an entire car with it. So if you make some that are twice the size of that, then you can get through the car a little faster. But basically I'm just going to grab one of these and we're going to start. And this stuff, it can go pretty quick. Basically, when you're doing this, you just want to flip them around in different directions and start to connect, you know, start to connect some of your design going on there. And this takes several coats and several layers. And basically what I do is I just kind of go through and I do one little light layer and get something kind of drop down to kind of see where I'm going with it. And then once we get that, then we'll go through and we'll actually start building. Okay, so now we kind of got, you know, we got a little bit of a drop down and a layout here on this. So now I'm gonna go through and we're gonna start kind of brightening it up and adding some more detail to it. Now when you want to brighten it up, you follow what you already have here, and then when you want to add more detail to it, you start over. Don't follow what you got going on here. Put a new set on. So, like I said, we're gonna just kind of go through. We're gonna brighten some of this up. Now everybody has different ways that they do these. I am self-taught. I didn't have anybody show me how to do this. So I just kind of wing it and see where we end up at. So, and you guys can kind of see, it's starting to look like something. Now you can kind of see where my fingerprints and handprints are landing at, and you got to be careful with that. You know, you can tack this off and get a lot of that off, but that fogginess that you get from the flames, you got to be careful. You don't want to wipe that off. This is just airbrushing, so got to kind of be careful with that. You don't want to wipe off what you're doing. Okay, so now that we've kind of brightened that layer up a little bit, and I added a little bit more over here. I took a picture of it and sent it to Colleen, and I could see in the picture that we were missing like this whole corner section over here. So I went in and I filled that back up. And now I'm going to add a second layer, and this layer will be a whole new layer. We may like touch into and add to what we have going on here, but I'm going to start over from scratch and just start laying new ones. And this is where you start to get your depth to everything. Alright, I'm going to lightly tack this off. Not trying to wipe our work off, but we got to get this white overspray off. And I noticed right at the end there, our last couple of things that we were doing, splatter out of the airbrush. So I think my tip is kind of getting a little clogged up there. So now, I'm gonna go in now and I'm gonna do a little bit of hand airbrushing and add a little detail to it with by hand. Normally when I do the hand detailing part of it, it's normally the very last step. But we're gonna put the purple over it, and I want you to kind of see some of that hand detailing in that purple. So we need to add that hand detailing now, then we'll go over everything with the purple, and then we'll come back with the white and we'll add highlights to it and do the hand detailing again in the white. So I'm gonna put some more white paint in the airbrush and we'll be right back. Okay, so I refilled with some white and we're gonna go in and we're gonna start filling in some of this and adding some hand detail. Now, like I said before, people do this different all over the place. I am self-taught. This is kind of my style that I do. I'm not saying that it's the right or wrong way to do it. It's just the way that I do it. I see that a lot of people, they use the stencil very little, where I use the stencil a lot. I like the look of the stencil. I kind of say it's like a Swiss cheese look almost, because I put so many of the stencils and circles in there and whatnot. But that's what I like. I see a lot of other people doing it. They do more hand airbrushing and less stencil. So it's really just up to what you like and what you want to do. Like I said, this is just how I do it. So now we'll come in and I just kind of we'll add a little color into some of this. Okay, we're going to switch over to some purple. And this purple is just going to be very, very light, and we're just going to kind of follow these flames to change them from white to purple, and then we'll come back to the white and we'll highlight certain areas of it. I don't know if it's going to have that neon look, but it's, you know, at the very least, it's going to look like my flames that I usually do. And we will also come back and we will do do this again, what we're doing right now. That'll be done in the white again. All right, let's get some purple. Okay, I'm gonna just do a little test down here at the end, at the bottom down here, just to see. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the white and we're just gonna highlight some stuff. Definitely not getting that neon look. I think that's something that I would have to work on. Okay, I'm not going to push any further. I'm not going to do anything else. You know, I've already taken this thing farther than we should have. I have other stuff to be working on. But let's okay, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and maybe you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys learned something. I know, like I said before, I know that you know, we did True Fire on a hood before, but we did filigree We did filigree on that last one. This one we did stencils. So a little bit different. So I think it looks pretty good. You know, it would have turned out a little bit better if this stencil was made like that stencil. But it still worked for something that's just gonna, you know, it's gonna go back on the mini truck. And you know, I'm still building that mini truck to get this hood over here to paint. I had to, you know, I had to clean off all the hood from scrap metal and tools and gloves and safety glasses, and this is going to go back on that truck over there, and it's just going to be used as a table. So you know, it's just a pretty cool looking table at the moment. Now I'm going to clear it. I have this Jeep hood that I explained it. It came out all tiger striped, and we got to respray the inside of that hood here this evening. And when I spray that hood, we'll clear this one. Yeah, so I'll show you guys this once it gets cleared. But I think that's it for right now. I'm hungry. Colleen is on her way home with some Portillos. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys learned something. Next time I do something, I'll try and do something different than the True Fire again. I just did that because it's quick. It took me like 45 minutes to do that. For me to go in and tape out flames and mask everything off, you know, it would have taken hours to do that. So, and it would have used a lot of tape and paper too, which I'm kind of running low on tape. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. At the end of the video here, I'll show it to you guys cleared, and maybe show it to you on the truck. I don't know, maybe not. I'll show it to you guys cleared. I don't really show that truck because I'm still working on it, and there's videos being made that we haven't released yet. So, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. All right, we're back out here this evening, and we are going to clear this now. So, if you guys have ever watched any of my other videos when it comes time to painting, I do not have my camera out here with me because I do not want to ruin my camera. These things are not cheap. So, it's not that I'm trying to hide anything from you guys. I just don't want to ruin my camera. We'll be back, and I'll show you guys what it looks like with a coat of clear on it. See you guys in a bit. Alright, we're back out here the next morning. I forgot the video before I moved the hood, but we did get this cleared up last night. And you know, for just a quick, you know, few hour job from a hood that was ready to be tossed in the garbage to something that's worthy of hanging on the wall. You know, I think it came out pretty cool. So, you know, like I said, it was just a test to test out my gun. The airbrushing was something that I just enjoy to do, and it was something fast that I could do to make the hood look cool. Now, you know, don't get me wrong, it has bad body work on it, it has rock chips, it has scratches, you know, but it's good enough for a wall hanger. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. And we will see you guys in the next one. I'm out.
Oh,